Alright guys, welcome to a exciting unboxing of Elden Ring. This is the final production copy. This is what I paid to get and what I'm excited to finally get started on playing. Now, I do have a confession to make for anybody who likes Elden Ring. I have not played the DLC, so I apologize for that, I guess. I've just been playing other stuff. Been stuck on Path of Exile lately, but I am pumped to get into this board game. And I think it's definitely going to probably cause me to get back into the video game once again and die a whole bunch. and look up what I'm supposed to do and who I'm supposed to talk to and how quests work because they don't have quest lines. But that's alright. Alright, let's see here. Dive in. It is packed full. My goodness gracious. This is going to be a lot. Very thick cardboard. So that's nice. It's actually quite good here. All right. Now, looks like we have just a. Is this just a roll, a spacer? Interesting. Okay, good. It's not a whole roll. It's just curved in there. But we got the Limgrave Depth expansion. We have a Iron Fist Alexander, very important. And then this gigantic box here. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right, let's put it over here. Get out of the way. All right. Let me. Guys, this thing is so big. Let me adjust the camera and get right into it. Alright, let's move this out of the way. Ooh. And get into the main thing here. This is literally an entire calyx cube. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like 13 by 13 or whatever the measurements are in inches. So, yeah, it's just what it says on all sides. It is one of those like half open, half not kind of things. On the back, I'll show it to you. Oh, all it says is "Arise Now, Ye Tarnished," which is classic. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. I love this, by the way. And again, I bought this on Kickstarter. This is obviously the Kickstarter version of the game, and as such, they don't need to advertise the game to me. Additionally, it's an IP-based game, so it's like if you like the IP, you kind of know what you're probably getting. It's probably not a poker set, right? But an Elden Ring poker set, that probably sell well anyway. But anyway, I digress. Okay. Try and open this. It looks like it came very pristinely, which is awesome. Happy to see that. This whole, like, the UV kind of silk screen looking kind of shiny and matte, whatever you want to call it, design here on the box, super cool. I'm sure you can kind of see that. Very neat. It makes it look really really different than I think it would otherwise. Okay. All right. Looks like there's like a barrel here. It's like it's like the map. It's the map. Well, that's cool. Yeah, see there's like a tree and stuff there. Do you see that? Very neat. I dig that. That's cool. Okay. Whew. Alright. Going to open up the box. Should open up pretty easily because it's just in half like this. All black, but it looks like, oh, jeez. That is full. Alright, so black on the side, black on the outside, black on the inside. I love it. Honestly, this kind of black treatment here costs almost nothing. It's very, very cheap to do. At least that's what some devs have told me. And I think it just looks nicer than plain cardboard. For whatever reason, it just looks a little bit cleaner to me. So I do appreciate that. Glue job looks good. This isn't going to be catching on anything or collecting dust. Honestly, lately, I've had good luck with this. Every now and then you get like one that's like there's a big gap there, and that's just going to get, kind of nasty, start fraying over time, and it just looks nice. I dig it. Love it. Looks great. The contrast between the kind of goldish lettering and the black just looks great. Okay, so there is that. Now, obviously, we got a whole bunch here. Let's start with, it looks like the scenario book first. I'm actually not going to start with that. Start with the rule book so I can tear into that and complain a lot. All right, it looks like we probably do need to zoom in now. We don't quite need to be that high. But I think I'm going to play it safe and do a zoom as opposed to actually lowering the camera anymore. Okay, so already this actually looks quite nice. It's not like stapled or anything. There's actually a seam that's been glued, so it looks good. The art looks great there. Nothing's blown out of too high resolutions. It's not grainy or anything like that. So that is nice. Nothing like useful on the back here. As like you would with stuffed crust pizza with rule books, you open them from the back first to make sure there's an index, right? And there is not, at least not at the very end here. Let's see, there's some card ordering reference stuff here, perhaps. Then there's alternate game modes. Did they? Oh, they're in trouble. I'm not seeing an index, guys. Okay, so this rule book, right? 63 pages. And in 63 pages, that is a big technical document, and it needs a rule book, or it needs an index, so that I can easily look through it. You see, rule books are often read for or written in two different ways, right? They're written to teach you how to play, and they're written to document the rules. And those are two different things with two different objectives, right? And so it's not always an easy thing to reference. And so to reference it, if I have a question, especially when I'm in the middle of a game, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I have a question, right? I want to go look it up real quick. And so I go to an index. And an index, as opposed to a table of contents, this is based off of the headers that they have and then what's underneath it. So it'll go from like T to S to S to L to E to G to D to B, right? It's not an alphabetical order, and things are only listed once because it's just the headers. Meanwhile, a actual like index is on concepts and keywords, and it's alphabetized, and it lists every page that's listed on, right? So for instance, weapon cards, it talks about it on page 17. That's great. But it might also mention something about weapon cards when it comes to attack cards. And an easy thing to do is just to list, also 42. And then it might also have to do with a boss scenario. Maybe weapons are dealt with differently there, or the boss has weapons. And so that'll actually be on 52. So it lists every page that concept is on, so that I know that if I've read those pages, I've read every single rule there is to know about that, and that should answer my question. This doesn't have anything to easily look up, which is a rather unfortunate, because I do want to be sure I'm playing the game correctly. A game played incorrectly is a great way to not play the game a second time, right? I want to make sure I do it right. And so I'm going to read the rules, but then I'm going to want to reference them. And that's where the index comes in. I cannot stress enough how it is an instant failure for me, no matter how good this rule book is written, without an index. And when you're making the programs that they use to lay this out and stuff can auto make an index, and you're like 90% of the way there. There's some touch up you'll have to do, and it won't get everything quite right? But for the most part, literally, you can pretty much auto generate it at this point. Indexes are not hard to do. I sat next to a technical writer at a job for half a decade, and he would have been able to spit out an index in minutes. It is not very hard, especially after writing something like this, right? He would know the ins and outs of it. He'd be able to spit that out. Whoever wrote this should be able to make an index very quickly. There's really no excuse. All right. So moving off from it's already a fail, right? No matter what, it needs an index. That is a hard stance I have. Regardless, special thanks to Kickstarter backers. Love that. I think that's great. Showing the appreciation. They certainly funded this well enough. I know I threw my money at it too. It does have a table of contents, which is nice. A little bit of art, that's always fun, and then some fluff. I dig that. It does look like it has game components where it lists the amount, the name, and the picture. I appreciate all three of those in combination, so I know exactly what I should get. It's going to take several pages by the looks of it because they have them so big. all the components. That's kind of nice actually to see them a little bit larger. Sometimes they can get really small, so I do appreciate that. There looks like there's some assembly that they'll do as well. Some box storage and unnumbered cards. So they're really telling you about the meta there. And now they're really, again, teaching you how to play the game. Here's how Tarnished work. And they have all the different numbers here that they're calling out what each thing is. So I appreciate that. I'm looking to see if they have any examples or anything, or any they do have call out boxes here, right? Well, they'll note special things. It looks like the headers are quite nice. We have centered, we have underlines, we have bolded with like interesting little bullets and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it looks like they've done a pretty good job here. I'm trying to see if they have, again, anything where it's like essentially a diagram or a flow chart or anything like that, kind of like this when it comes to attack. Sometimes that can help really explain the process of something. It looks like they maybe do, but not in a very graphical way, right? It looks like a lot of it is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, but they don't like lay it out ahead of time. They do have in-game pictures, so that's kind of cool to see. Also, you have the IP. I think you should live up to it. I know that's hit or miss for some people, but in my mind, if you like the IP, you want to see the IP. So, all right, rulebook, at least it is a good shape. A lot of times people make it square. The problem with the square, if you haven't seen my other videos, I do mention this quite often, but it's the ratio between how much page there is, distance-wise, and the length of the seam, right? So if this was like this, right, this becomes really floppy because there's all of this well outside of where it is bound, right? Because there's only this much space, it just holds its shape a bit more, right? Otherwise you get really, really droopy ones when they like overhang a lot. And so this allows you to quickly leaf through it. I do appreciate non-square rule books. This is actually my preference here. Okay. Scenario book. Now this scenario book, we're not going to like spoil too much or anything like that. I will say it's a little bit more rigid, it feels. I'm not sure exactly. This is different. Yeah, okay. All right, interesting. Okay. So I don't know why. First of all, they look great, right? But this is very, as you can see, bendy, right? And then this is not. It's like harder stock. I'm sure you can see the difference there, right? So yeah, that's kind of interesting. I don't know why they picked one over the other. Maybe just to make it a bit more rigid. Looks like there's lots of stuff going on here when it comes to, little blurbs and what you're reading about, and it looks like there's plenty of art. Look at that. That's fun. So yeah, kind of interesting. I dig that. Again, not gonna spoil too much. Now we have the encounter book A here. There's more than one encounter book. It is ring bound here, so you can do that, which is awesome. Again, love seeing all the art and in-game screenshots and whatnot. Everything has a table of contents, and here's where I know you're doing actually some work here. This is kind of interesting to see like zoomed in versions like this and stuff. Kind of cool. So again, this you'd actually like play on. And then they have more. Again, I'm not going to open the other ones, but there is a B, and there is a C, and there is a D. So there's lots. This is not a little bit, and this is like just the beginning area. I think they're going to be making this for like years. This is going to be like a life game. Okay. Now, they did have some minis here, and as you can see, it got pretty roughed up because this is going to sit on top. I'm actually going to wait. I want to do all the minis at the end, mainly because at the end of this box. I'll do it per box, but mainly because I tend to go into detail. All right, so now this is kind of hard to get out because it's the exact size, so there's nothing to grab. And then luckily I caught it, but there's just not anything to grab here, right? Like I finally got it, but like now that I let go again, it's kind of hard to grab when you make it the exact size. I get why they did that, but it wasn't exactly the easiest thing. That being said, looks nice. It looks like they even have a campaign structure here, so that's cool. So here they have the Weeping Peninsula and the Realm of the Grafted King, Stormvale Castle, Flying Dragon, Agil, Erd Tree Avatar, and then the Limgrave Depths. So there's a whole bunch going into the main one here, right? That's kind of what they're looking at there. All right. Next up, it looks like we have the player boards, right? You have your profile, class feature trait, combat deck, discard attribute deck, buffs, armor, weapons, talismans. Very nice. These are a good thickness. They're rigid enough. I appreciate that. All right, next up we have some cardboard. Not a whole lot though. Cardboard comes out quite easily. Looks like there's a tiny bit of tags, but nothing too crazy. And these are nice. There's not a whole lot of squish here, not a whole lot of give. These are pretty solid. Little bendy when they're long like that, but not too bad. And I bet these aren't. Yeah, these aren't bendy at all when they're like that. Punches out really good, and honestly, the tag very, very minimal. Honestly, I'm quite impressed with that. It's actually pretty darn good. Yeah, not bad at all. All right, we'll do a round one as well. Yep, it comes out just fine. Yeah, no, this looks good. This looks really good. It's not really fraying or doing anything crazy on the back. You do get a little bit of that kind of white fraying. So over time, as you play this, you'll start to see a little bit of wear and tear. On the back, everything is printed as well, so it's not like a, oh, you gotta, I don't know what these blank ones are for. That's kind of interesting. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Okay. Looks like some of these fell out, which is kind of, oh yeah, look at that. Here's one right here. Kind of funny. This is falling apart, guys. All right, that being said, probably want to assemble at least one of these. Yeah, there's a whole lot going on here. We got different symbols here, right? Health, yeah, stuff, I guess. Stuff and things, I don't know. All right. So I'm assuming we're going to have... Jeez, these are just falling out, guys. My goodness. All right, let's take a bit of that, one of these. I'm assuming that one of these goes like here, right? And then one of them is going to go over here, right? Probably something like this, I would guess. But maybe it's two red ones. I don't know. Actually, it must be. I think these are the two red ones. And then these go to the blue ones, right? And they're going to be like this. Okay. So, as you can see, they have a little... I'm not going to go ahead and assemble them. You guys probably know how a lot of this works, but this little bit here will allow you to be able to turn it pretty easily. Same with right there. So that's nice too. Again, I don't think I'm actually going to assemble that for you guys. Just because I'm not sure that's actually like super duper needed. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. All right. That's the tokens. Well, that's what they got so far. And then got some minis in here. Now, is this all just minis now? I doubt it. But let's see. What's all in here? We got some baggies. That's nice. These do not have holes in them, so they can fill with air. It's either a pro or a con, depending on what it is you're wanting. Down here. Okay, yep. So some some tokens in here. There are locking lids. And it looks like no tape. So the locking part is right here. This allows it to kind of get in there, and then you have to kind of force it out because there is a little bit of give. That's what that is, and it works quite well. This is a pretty heavy one, and if I put it completely on there, it actually holds it pretty darn well. So yeah, great quality there. It was a little hard to pull out, but overall okay. Okay. They wrapped this, which is good. So the reason they wrap these is because now this is one piece you have to put in instead of a whole bunch, right? It allows it to where as long as this came really good in the factory, it's one thing for assembly, right? So when you pack it up, boom, it's in there. There's not, when I'm transferring it and putting it in the box, it's all one thing. It's put together. I'm not like dropping one on accident or spilling them and having to pick them up and missing one or whatever. It really kind of cleans up a lot of the risk of getting either not enough or the wrong ones or mismatches or anything like that. It's just automatically easier. Now I'm going to make a mess of this. In fact, I'm probably not going to take them all out because once I do that for the unboxing, it's going to be a disaster. Okay, so here are some of the map tiles, and yeah, as you can see, pretty cool. Now again, I'm already seeing some of that white, and that white is definitely showing up here. You can kind of see it there. It's like that little dust. Most games do that, but not all. Some I've not really gotten anything off of. This one, even still, there's like a little piece attached there. Just little things up, but otherwise very smooth. It does have a little bit of a almost like a sawdust feel. It like fills in slightly your ridges right on your fingers. That's that smooth feeling you get. But yeah, this is good. It's not like bendy. It's actually quite sturdy. Yeah, so these seem nice. As for the color variation, there's like, you know, hardly any. It's very much a drab kind of color scheme that we got going on there. But I'm gonna go ahead and put those back-ish because at the very bottom here, I am glad it's on the bottom. That makes total sense, right? So we do have quite a few cards down in here and some more minis, so it is definitely a mixed bag. I think this is the last bit though. No, it's probably a little dark for you. It's a little dark for me too. It is black. I said that as a positive, but you know, here we are. Okay, so we got some yeah, just cards. And these are for the turntable things. So one thing I did notice, and I don't know if you're going to see this very well. I'll try and show you. There is, and maybe you can't see it, but there's quite a bit of scruff here, right, from these things. Just, I think, from how heavy it is, it's just moving around a lot. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these cards. I'm not going to look at everything here. That would be boring, I think, for everybody involved. But I will look at some of it. I'll look at all the minis, but that'll take, honestly, a lot of time already. But every single low card, that's probably not necessary. Probably not. It really depends. I'll play it by ear. If I got something to say about it, I'll show it off, right? Okay. So these are just separators by the looks of it. I'm assuming that's what this is the separators. So you have all the different classes here, right, that you can be. And then there's even some other stuff as well. So yeah, these are just separators. Very cool to see. I'm glad they're keeping that. That's awesome. You separate all your stuff. Oh, this is packed. This definitely does not have room for sleeves. If you sleeve, oh, see, hopefully I don't need that. If you sleeve this, you're storing it some other way, because that is actually packed really tight. Okay, almost got it. Oh man, I'm not even sure that was the start of it. I think I was doing the wrong thing. Yeah, I think it's right here. I never know where these. See, I don't know. You'd think I'd be able to unbox things. Considering how often I do it. But here I am, struggling. All right. So here are a few. Oh, look at that. That looks awesome. I love the art here. That's cool. So that's the front of a lot of these. Mainly the traits and stuff. But then you also have the map here. That's what a lot of these are. For places you can come across. Oh, jeez, I can barely see in here, guys. My goodness. All right. You know what? I think I'm going to look through this and pick out some for you guys. So I'll catch you in a moment. All right. So what I got here are two examples A lot of it is not very distinguishing from, I mean, like this actually looks the most different. A lot of it is just a lot of text, and I could go over some of the nuance of the card, but honestly, everything I want to comment about, like the font and the layout and the color scheme and all that's going to be here anyway, right? So I can make the comment on here, and then I got a smaller deck of cards here that also look quite different as well, so I think it fits either way. But as you can see, a ton of combat cards and weapon cards and whatnot, so it's just kind of a mix here. But the weapons and the combat, that's the difference in how they look. This reminds me a lot of the Monster Hunter. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more for the cards. Monster Hunter world, in that it was just like, oh, like that was like their AI, right? But yeah, this is honestly, I think, pretty cool. They do have the +1, +2 kind of thing, right? Which is kind of interesting. See, there's a number on the up here that's different. And then you get a whole bunch of different stuff here, along with a cost to upgrade. So that's cool. And then I imagine there's a 3, see? And you get more and more and more. And you get different abilities for it. And then you have a longbow, right? And you can do some steady shots and some mighty shots and evasive shots. And you get a longbow +1. So then you get piercing shots, right? So that's kind of the level up system there. Now, when it comes to actually being able to read it, I think it all works out quite well. Even like this, like lighter and lighter, that's probably the extreme here, and I can still read that just fine. So everything works quite well when it comes to what it is you're actually reading there. Obviously, there is a little bit of sameness, right? There is a little bit of drabness to it. It kind of reminds me of the Resident Evil board game in that sense as well. And it's just not super standoutish, right? I think it's on brand for Elden Ring for the most part, but it is a bit plain, right? A bit unassuming for something as cool as Elden Ring. It's really chill, right? It's like just kind of soft earth tones and a little bit of green and a little bit of brown. Nothing too bright or cheery here. All right, so here's some of the like items and consumables and stuff that you can get, or that you can loot, right? All the different like resources and whatnot. And that's what you're seeing here. Again, quite different when it comes to the background, right, or the border. So these, I think, almost stand out more than most of the cards I saw. But just kind of wanted to show them to you. And you know, for thickness, it's fine. It's board game quality. It's actually probably average or above average, I would say. Maybe leaning towards above average, depending on what you used to play with. But they're not bad at all. They will keep a bend, right? So I don't know exactly what core they have here, but yeah, if I bend this, that'll crease, right? And so just be aware that will happen. Okay, so now we just got some minis to look at, and then of course we've got some expansions, but let's do the minis.